right, back to the football investing, the sports investing. Few things I want to go over. First off, going into a week one NFL season, we're actually approaching the third week of college investing. We had week 0, we had week 1. We're coming off of a great week 0 and week 1. Here's what everybody needs to decide going into it. Are you you have to define your goals. Are you here to invest? Are you here to create income? Are you here to gamble? And depending on what your strategy is, there's a place for you. You just need to determine what your goals are. If you're here to gamble, well, you do whatever you want. Take my picks, don't take my picks, listen to my advice, don't listen to my advice, gamble, bet it all, don't bet it all. I mean, you do whatever if you're here to gamble. There's a lot of people that do pretty well with it. I have no advice for you if you're here to gamble. Just don't call me and get upset when you go 3-1 and miss your 4-way parlay, but the 3-1 wasn't good enough for you. If you're an investor, or if you're here for income, I'm gonna define the difference, and I'm gonna talk about the strategies for it as we get into the season. So, if you're here for income, here's what I recommend. And actually, let's talk bankroll management. There's a lot of talents. There's a lot of capper out there, and the popular opinion is this: whatever you're willing to lose, whatever your total bankroll is, that if this is gone, you're completely out of sports betting and gambling. Divide that number by 100, and that is your unit. So when you hear me say unit, that's your number. If you have $1,000 divided by 100, your $10 is your unit. If you have $100 divided by 100, and $1 is your unit. And so, again, I'm focusing on the income and investor side of things. If you're an investor, what's your 401k done for you this year? What's that percentage? What percentage in your 401k or your stock market investments would make you happy? Because that's the way you need to look at the weekend of football or the week of sports plays. If you're looking for income, there's a different approach, at least in terms of how you handle your profit for the week. So let's go there. What I have done, and I'm going to continue to do it throughout the season, is I started an account, and I went in as $10 being the unit. So it's paper trading. It's nothing more than that. $10 is not my unit, but I'm just starting with as a $10 wager. And the reality is, if $10 makes you cringe, you probably shouldn't be betting on sports. However, this is where I started. Week 0 as a $10 per bet. That would have brought you to, and if you're following my picks, baselines, and everything else, that would have brought you to $13.50 on week 1 of college. We're getting into week 2 of college, which is week 1 of NFL. You're now a $15 investor. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it does keep moving. If we do things correctly, you will be a $20 to maybe a $22 per game investor on week 2 of NFL and week 3 of college. And I'm gonna keep updating that number for everybody on this page throughout the season. So if you're looking to invest, follow the picks, play the picks however you wish, whatever your profit is. So write down, I started with $100. At the end of the week, if you have $130, write that number down. Then you're going to take that $30. So 130 minus the 100 you started at the beginning of the week. You're going to take that $30, and you're going to put half of that $30 profit into pressing next week's action. So however many games there are, you're going to take the $15, which is half the profit, and you're going to divide that evenly. So it might make you an $11 better, it might make you a $12 better. It depends on how many games we have coming up. If you are in this for income, what you're going to do is you're going to take half the profit, let the bankroll grow. The other half of the profit, you're going to take out. You're going to take half of that profit out and pay yourself. And you just let your bankroll grow, press your bets like we talked about if you were an investor, and that's how it goes. And you pay yourself every week. What your approach is, I can't define that for you. I'm going to talk about a couple system plays. Let's get into systems. So I got a really cool system, NFL. So another thing I'm going to do that everybody can track throughout the season is I am going to bet money line every single underdog in the NFL every week. And I believe that I'm going to end up winning money through it. So you can break down film, you can pick games, you can take my picks, you can pick helmet colors if you want to. But I am actually going to put money on the money line on the underdog every single week. If it's Seattle against against the best team in the league, I think Seattle's the worst team in the league. But if it's Seattle against the best team in the league, I'm going to take the dog plus 550 every week. And I think at the end of the week or at the end of the year, we're gonna come away positive. So we're gonna track that throughout the year. And you know, if $10 is your unit, go into that for $1. It's gonna cost you $16 for the week. And if it's plus 550, the $1 is gonna end up netting you, $5.50. I mean, that's a 5x. That's a pretty good day. And stock market isn't really doing anything great for us anyway. So the other one I'm going to talk about is a system play. System. So a system play basically means if this is this and that's that, I bet this no matter what. There's no thought involved. There's really no. It's just flat out a system. So here's one I came up with, and I looked back 3 years. So weeks 1 through 5 in a division game where the spread is between 0 and 5.5, take the dog. So I'm going to repeat it. In a division game, weeks 1 through 5, if the spread is between 0 and 5.5, take the dog. That's one system. The other system I'm going to throw out there is in any game where the spread is 9.5 or more in the NFL, and it doesn't exist this week, I already looked for it, where the spread is 9.5 or more in the NFL, take the under for the game. Isn't that crazy? If Dallas is a 9.5 point favorite over Tampa, which I don't see how that happens. But if that's the case, you take the under. Any 9.5 point spread or more, you just take the under. I'm not saying that it's going to hit every single time. I'm saying I'm going to play it, and it's a worthwhile system. And if you go back 3 to 5 years, you'll find that in those scenarios, you'll win. What else? Is anybody with me? Anybody have any questions? So I don't bet Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. But this particular week 1, we're trying to figure things out, and we've had a lot of time to look at these games. If CBS Sports, that's the app I use for all my scores. I just like the way that the app posts things. If you look at Tampa Bay and Dallas, 64% of the action of the tickets, not dollars, tickets, is on Tampa. The line opened at 2.5, and still 2.5. So when you look at Dallas at home, plus 2.5 is where it opened, and it's still sitting at plus 2.5. So the line hasn't moved. When you see lopsided ticket placement like that, and the line hasn't moved, one of two things is happening. Either there's a lot of sharp money on Dallas, or stupid money. Just there's a lot of money on Dallas. Whether it's sharp or stupid, I like my chances of a guy that's got millions of dollars to hold the line stable. Or Vegas is completely comfortable being exposed at 64% and 2.5 points Tampa. So I love Dallas here. I absolutely love Dallas getting points, taking points. Forget about the X's and O's. I love Dallas in this spot. And if you look at it the same way I'm looking at it, that's just where I'm at. The other one that's really interesting, and I'm not prepared to make a pick, but if you look at New England, Miami, I know historically New England in September, New England at Miami in September, 95 degrees in Miami, a lot of different things. But if you just look, 67% of the wagers are on Miami. The spread has only moved from 3 to 3.5. New England, there's only 33% of the public money. And so let me get this right. I'm getting the best coach in the history of football, in the history of the NFL football, and I'm getting 3.5 points. I don't know. It's just worth looking at. I'm not saying that New England could win outright. I'm not saying that they're going to blow them out. I'm just saying, what exactly has Miami done to get? And when you see 67% of the public action, I kind of run the other way. So there's that. The other thing I wanted to throw out there, is anybody with me? Does anybody have anything to ask while we're here? All right, cool. I'll just keep moving. Other thing I want to throw out there, I know that there was a lot of communication on the posts in the sports the sports bet page, and we were talking about where to find the action in the different shows that I'm on. I'm not withholding picks. I'm not holding picks back from anybody. But the reality is, I need to. I'm chasing credibility. At the same time, I am trying to make sure that people have a reason to listen to each one of the different podcasts or shows that I'm doing. So I'm trying to give this group the most that I can as far as bankroll management and picks. And I never set out to be a pick guru. We win more than we lose, but I'm trying to preach bankroll management and profitable investing with these sports. When you go to the Sports Betting Weekly or the Saturdays in Canada and the Weekend Crunch and some of these other shows, on those shows, I'm trying to post picks that you can't get on the Discord page, but I'm also sharing information with the Discord page that the members cannot get unless they join. Or I'm sorry, information that's exclusive to the members. So I'm trying to give the radio shows a reason to join the page. So I'm not holding picks back. And if anybody texts me one-on-one, I'm happy to share the information. And that's really all I got. I don't have much. I would say tiptoe into week one, and always be cashing.